You touched on something just then as well, which has been a recurring theme in a lot of the interviews that I've done with artists in their studios, and that is about music.
Yes.
Tell me how music possibly affects or relates to your actual process when you're in here working on the canvas. What's the role of music?
Big deal of movement. So I'll be jumping around, or I could be, sitting cross-legged on the floor and painting away. And the thing is, it's not as though I'm transfixed on. Sometimes I am in regards to the lyrics of some songs. So I listen to anything, from real extreme sort of punk grindcore to classical. So it's a very broad appreciation, I guess, and but yeah, there has to be music, and jazz is bebop, vintage bebop jazz is my thing. I love jazz. I just cannot stop. It makes me happy. I on occasion with the family, we'd be dancing to it and dancing really crazily, and it's just this joyful, happy, good time music. And funnily enough, it sort of almost is sometimes really opposite to what you're seeing. It's kind of these really dark and big bold black lines and black, but I find the music sort of actually supports and motivates to produce this stuff, and it's really, I guess, contradictive, and you kind of just get really, I guess, how could he do that, with good time jazz, ragtime jazz? I don't know. It's just the way I feel. But yeah, it's imperative, I guess, to have music all the time, because I guess also too because of a previous experience, my being involved with band, local music in Geelong, Victoria, and being a lead singer to a four-piece, and I found that experience quite liberating. It was, I guess, excising demons. It was, liberating in ways. And
do you think there's a relationship with, because you paint largely in abstraction, do you think there's a relationship there with that abstraction and the music? I'm thinking like how often music has been, spoken of as or abstraction, going back 100 years, has been kind of conceived as being music-like, in that music is abstract. It's not straightforward representational in any,
Music.
Yeah.
I would disagree. I think music is quite calculating, quite mathematical. It fits within, square pegs, square holes. But with its abstraction, there is no fit. Nothing is right or wrong. There are no, obviously there are no rules within that particular genre, but I mean, I certainly don't see that there's prescribed rules that with music you need to follow, or producing music, or
so it's much more freeform kind of type of expression rather than music, which is
it's much more methodical. But then again, if you listen to a lot of bebop jazz like Larry Bird, that's crazy sort of stuff, like really, really sort of jumping stuff, and but yet it still comes from understanding, what note is, aesthetically pleasing to hear, one after the other, and yet that's found on, these particular, whatever it is. So yeah, it's a bit of a mind-blowing thing, sort of, for that and how they can really work together. Sometimes I just am perplexed to try and understand, or trying to explain it, because as I said before, it's like, if you enjoy something, just do it. If it makes you feel good, do it. I don't think there needs to be a rhyme or reason sometimes in regards of explaining things, because I know that even though you're trying to educate people and they're trying to understand, sometimes it's a matter of exploring those ideas yourself, and taking, not so much as a risk, but just putting yourself on the line and finding out, because having to explore is it can be frightening at times, scary, yet it's liberating in the sense once you've gotten through the other side. So I guess I'm just flying with it. See how it goes.
How do you find having a studio at home? How does that work for you? I know a lot of artists have studios away from their home because there's a kind of it's almost like there's a distance when they commute there. But I know plenty of artists who are exactly the same situation as you with it. Set up studio in the garage. Again, I guess it's just in regards of affordability, being able to financially afford to do it. I mean, would you have a studio elsewhere even if you could afford it? Or?
Yes, I would. I would totally do it. In regards to granting a great deal more space, yes, because then I could work on not just one or two, or 3 or 4. I could work on probably a dozen pieces at the one time and line them up, and gunshot sort of approach. But it's difficult being at home. It's difficult having a studio at home. It's and with a small family or young family, it's constantly in check, making sure that this is Daddy's area, and make sure that she's not going into, and that she starts pulling out stuff that's, not exactly safe, or terps or anything like that. So I'm constantly in check, and also in check in regards to time management, because you do get lost into the, into thought, but also into actually painting. And there might be just one particular area that needs you kind of considering, how do I push forward on that? And then, it's dinner time, you kind of, crap, give me another 5 minutes, which turns into 5 hours. So it's difficult, and having to learn time management, and that's what it comes down to. It's I guess part of that aspect of being an artist. You tend to juggle many balls in regards of wanting to achieve putting your work out there. Time management is a big part when you have a studio at home. It's you've got to compromise greatly. And not be so self-absorbed, I guess.
Does it require a certain amount of discipline to kind of
pull yourself away from it? Yeah.
Oh, to actually go back into the
family unit.
Yeah. I was going to ask about the other way, but yeah.
No, I'm actually, I actually find it difficult to pull myself away from the art aspect, and be totally focused on family.
Do you find yourself sitting there thinking about something that you would need to get to? Yeah. And
my wife would ask me a question, I go, what? What was that? she'll be wondering where I am and what I'm thinking, you know.
I'm sitting here, but my mind's outside in the garage.
Exactly. I'm working on 20 pieces at the one time. So, you know, I'm going to have to reiterate that, you know, the question in regards to, you know, what it is that you want me to cook or make. So, also too, yeah, because I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I tend to take on a lot more of the responsibilities in the home management. So it's like, you know, keeping the house clean, cooking dinner every night, and taking turns and, you know, managing our daughter Poppy, you know, to read her books, put her to bed, you know, bath her and all that sort of stuff. So, but then when it comes to the weekends, when my wife Jackie is at home, she's encouraging me to pull me away from this and to, you know, go external and, you know, walk, go do things together as a family unit. And for me that can be quite really difficult to sort of let go because this is, you know, this birthing chamber of my mind. To you know, walk away, you know, and it's like my blue blanket. I can't just walk away. It's very difficult to take Poppy on a Saturday to go swimming for swimming lessons. It's like, oh, are you coming with us? If I say no, will I be in trouble?
So, do you generally stick to a kind of a 5-day a week, you know?
Yeah, that's the way it goes. It's it has to go, because otherwise it's just not gonna be a very amicable household. So I have my time slot. So when we take Poppy to school, she has before care and after care, and that's only like for 2 hours or 1 hour sometimes. And Jackie goes to work at 7 o'clock, so we're all out of here at 7 o'clock. I take them to school and to public transport, and then I have from 8:30 onwards till around about 5 o'clock. So, but that's to make sure that the household is in check and dinner is in check before, or you know, whilst in here as well. So, and sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes dinner is late, and sometimes I forgot to take out the, you know, snags before, you know, 12 o'clock or something like that. So it's kind of, got to really be on board time management. So I'm still learning at 47. So, yeah.
Well, that leads me to another question, which is about the importance of downtime from this, because if you have a very structured kind of week in a way, which is determined in part from, you know, from the things that happen externally in your day-to-day life, external to the studio, that is. How do you structure kind of downtime into that, which somehow facilitates the creative process, if in fact you do?
Not a great deal of downtime. It's either reading, it's either writing, and listening to music. And the other aspect is like the social media, you know, viewing
of that part of it.
So that's about an hour or so there. So in regards of anything more external than that, not a great deal, other than, you know, going to exhibitions on, you know, the weeknights, and it's not a great deal, sort of, you know, taking myself out of my blue blanket zone. So because I guess the social media aspect gives me a great deal of, you know, visual stimuli to sort of go, okay, well, this person's doing this and that person's doing that, and this event's on here, and it's all really immediate and accessible. So I don't really take myself out of a comfort zone in that respect. I know that I need to do more of that. Yeah, I'll just admit that.
Ultimately then, because it's a matter of juggling things, and certainly a certain amount of sacrifice to continue this career. What's the payoff for you?
Payoff is when I can.
I don't mean necessarily when you sell a painting, then it pays back. I mean, like the
the payoff. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay. The payoff. I'll just be blunt. It's like, the payoff is it's when I can turn to my wife and go, "Here's a big fat check," and there's 20 more to go. There's 20 more to come. So that's the big payoff. One of the big payoffs, anyway. One of the big payoffs. Another big payoff would be that my family could actually be inclusive within my career to the opportunity or the possibility to be able to travel overseas, to have them inclusive and for them to experience, especially my daughter, especially at 5 years of age. She's at a particular point of her life where I think anything, in their early years, they're just a sponge and they're absorbing everything. At the moment, she's learning to read and she's looking at signs and whatever while she's in the car and says, "What does that say, Daddy?" And she starts to phonetically sound it out and starts to read it. And everywhere we go, so she is learning at a rapid rate. And so I think that would be my ultimate, is to have them inclusive in regards of being able to, with the opportunities that I possibly could, receive, to, travel and learn about other places other than just her local immediate area. So, and that's the thing, we as a family will always be venturing out on the weekend going, and Jackie's always pushing for that to happen, for her to experience, other parts of the city, going and exploring and discovering and doing. So that would be my absolute ultimate. It would actually be like almost one of the dreams. So that's the big payoff. I guess the aspect of being internationally represented by an international gallery would be great, but I'm not going to really put my heartstrings on it, because it's just one of those fluctuating climates within art galleries, because of having to deal with art fairs and social media. Everything else is moving at such a rapid pace that there are galleries that are closing down, and in respect of, I guess, business models, a car dealership can't afford to pay land lease, lease on the land, because they've got like 1,000 cars in the car lot. What's a better idea? To actually get rid of that and go to a retail shop front within shopping centres. So that's a pure example of, I guess, downsizing and thinking outside the box in regards of business models.
And I suppose that's where the social media thing comes in for you, in terms of
the geotagging. I can be in many places at the one time, so it sort of grants me more exposure to many more people, not just in an immediate vicinity, but also overseas. And you've got to be able to think smart in regards of using technology to its the best possible way. But I guess the representation, and sometimes I've come to this point of like, well, do I need to have representation? I mean, the artist is a bit of a chameleon and having to adapt and be flexible. So do we really need to have representation? So, you know, it's the advantage of having a gallery space to be able to present your works. Yes, that's great. And the network of buyers and collectors. Yes, that's great. It's a helping advantage. Yes. But yeah, I'll just keep plugging away and see what happens. So, yeah, and that's a lot. I'm pretty much doing it. It's just, you know, taking each day as it comes. I can't really. I'm not wholly and solely going to be, you know, relying or putting my heartstrings on these dreams. But I know that this is what I do, and I do good. You know, everything else I suck at, so it's like, it's yeah. I'm happy doing this, and if if I can continue to keep doing it, that's great. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Damien.
Thank you. Much appreciated.